Oh, the particulars. No, that's not it. The particulates. Anyway, this is going to be boring, but I wanted to make a video record of the damage to the land, so I'm going to start off. The sun's very bright. Going up the driveway, a typical walk that I used to take, or would take. You can see here. Hopefully the colors come out. You've got orange, where the trees are singed, I guess. The top, for instance, on these, it's still green. Then on the bottom, you can see all those black spotches are where the earth scorched on the bottom. So I'm going to head up this way and we'll see what we end up with. This is probably a good example right here where the tree is not burnt at all and just the ground is scorched. This is where that old crappy ass picnic table was, and that's burned down. See the tree scorch marks came part of the way up that tree. So now we're going across the top 5. You can see it scorched the top 5 as well. There it is traveling on the ground. Some of that tree burned, part on top is green. This land was cleared so much, probably saved a lot of these trees. This is that corner of Peregrine and Winslow. You can see that the bushes took a pretty big hit in there as well. I have a funny feeling from what I've seen so far that almost all of what Pop had planted around the outside was fried. So as you can see, there's a lot of scorching. The fire went right through here, but not a lot of massive tree damage. I don't know if you can see this, but obviously this is one way to get rid of tree stumps. Stumps caught on fire and then just burned down to the ground. At least you'll recognize it's a little valley area where up here on the right should be aspen, or at least used to be aspen. Anyway, here's all the scorching that went on the top 5. Be a bench I'd come out and sit on up here. I think Carol and I built that for the old above ground swimming pool once upon a time. And that used to be a big ass evergreen type of bush there. I don't know if you remember, in front of these aspen. They look like they're all toast. That's what a tree looks like that's been totally fried. It's interesting if you'll see that the taller trees had a greater chance of surviving the ground fire because they don't have any low hanging branches for the fire to catch into. At least not ours, because we cleaned them up and there wasn't mistletoe keeping them low. Whereas your smaller trees like these had pine needles too close to the ground, so they caught on fire. There's one that burned all the way up. Well, I am glad this is up on the top 5. You see that big ass tree made it. Scorch seemed to come up on the other side of that trail. The evergreens Pop had planted that grew up here on the top 5. I don't know how hardy they are when they get fried. You can see there's quite a bit of orange. I don't know what's going to end up happening, whether they'll be able to recover or not. Alright, I'm up by the well. It burned around it, but it seems to have survived. Telephone pole survived where the power is. You can see though all these trees going down here are pretty orange. You can see the black spots aren't shadows for the most part. It's fire burn. Here's the Mormon's house. The fire just did not cross over that path, it appears. You can see this is the edge of our property right here. That's all scorched down there. So I'm leaving the top 5 now. This little grove of aspen, if you all remember, made it. Not much of a grove, but at least there's some aspen left. I don't know if you can see how bad that is, but that's up the street, just the next piece of property over, and that's where the entire trees are just totally destroyed. So this part of the property did not do really well, I guess, with the burn. There's some burn here, but these trees the Pop had planted, most of them made it. Oh, this is one of the evergreens that Pop planted and nurtured for years, and it's just totally fried. can see though, those kind of trees have the branches down near the bottom, which would feed the fire and keep it going, unlike the ponderosa. Anyway, here's a shot of the house and how it's fine. And then there's the aftermath of the barn. So this is the aftermath of the barn and the pickup truck and all the pieces of melted or destroyed material. Lawnmower, those carts. That snowblower that we didn't bring home. Here's some more of the items that were in the barn. Lawrence's old bike, the old Tonka truck, toolbox. That's his old, Lawrence's old scooter, and then these are what's left of the tools, metal parts that didn't burn. This is what's left of that Norwegian Spark. You know, it had the part where you sit on it and you could push and kick with your feet. Anyway, this is what's left of the barn. I don't know if you can see them, but there's a lot of white specks. Probably can't. Sitting out here all over the land on this end, and it's ended up being pieces of sheet music for the most part that had gone up in flames and then flittered off to burn up. So here's the back of the house, and you can see the fires right there. Came right into the barn, and this whole part is totally scorched all across here. And then over there, I'll take you over there, is the barn. Some of the sheet music that's sitting out here. Turns out, because the sun's really bright, I waited till it was up 12 o'clock at least so that there wouldn't be any shadows confusing what was blackened and what wasn't. So anyway, there's what's left of the barn. This is that farthest back corner of the property, and as you can see, those trees are just totally lost. And this was the one part of the property that it didn't have mistletoe, so we didn't thin them out as much as we had on the top 5. And so one tree could help feed the flames on another tree because they were closer together down here. Now I'm down in the bottom corner. If you remember, these were all choke cherry trees sort of things with Grandma used to pick the choke cherries off them. I don't think that's ever going to happen again. That's too bright. There's a bunch of the carragana, which most of it didn't burn, but it looks like it just fried it was so hot that it just dried out the leaves. I don't think those will make it either. Here's the back of the house. Those evergreens got scorched pretty bad. It's hard to show you, but on a lot of these trees, you can tell that the wind changed direction. Because one time the burn marks from the ground fire on one side of the tree, and then when the wind blew the other way, brought the fire back, then you got brown marks or black marks on the other side. This is one of the trees that Pop had planted 30 years ago. That fought and fought and fought to get a toe hold, and now it's dead. Some more of the carragana fried. One of the trees that sort of made it, that Pop planted. I don't think that'll survive. It's really more devastation than I understood there to be. But I've been around Peregrine, and this is nothing. I haven't recorded any shots of my feet, so I just do that for old time's sake. You can see this is all torched underneath my feet. This is the corner of, once again, on the other side, on the bottom 5 of Peregrine and Winslow. And there was a bunch of stuff in there that had made it, that Pop had planted trees and the like, and they got scorched really bad. Well, that's it for the tour. Hopefully you can see this. I'm taking this picture to see what it could have been like.